Good morning. Guess who's still working on the same chapter that I've been working on for the last million videos? That's right, me. I am literally I am so torn between being in love with this chapter and feeling so proud of it, and also feeling like I'm so over it and I can't believe that I've been doing this for so many months and I'm so ready to be done with it. But let's go into the office today and try and smash out more of it. I'll show you a bit more of my setup because I really am relying on 3 screens at the moment. But I feel like I need some good concentrated time, need to go into the office, no distractions kind of day. So that's what I'm aiming for. I am going in a bit later than anticipated. It's 10:55 and I was hoping to be there by 11. That's fine, it's just one of those things. But I was working from home this morning and I'm basically reviewing a book and I needed to read some more of it because I need to submit it by I think December 12th or something. So I'm trying to read as much of it as possible so that I can write the review earlier so I don't have the deadline hanging over me. But I am just reading a few pages a day just to try and chip away at it, and thankfully it's a book that's relevant to my research, so while it's not relevant to this chapter I will be using it later. But yeah, anyway, let's go. Let's keep working on this chapter. When I get to the office, I'll update you on how many pages I'm up to, how many words I'm up to compared to the last video. I don't remember what that is, but editing me will put it in and see where we ended at. And yeah, let's go work.
No sleep, my veins run dry, I'm empty. I can't see, I'm blinded by this concrete. And I should call you, see what you've been up to. I've been wondering, how far did you go in 7 months? I bet you're happy and don't think that much about me. Here I am alone.
Hello. It is now 6:44 and I'm only recording this now because I didn't realize that one of my colleagues was going to be in the office today, and obviously I'm not going to talk while he's here. So I recorded a few clips and everything, but I said I'd get to the office and tell you where I'm up to, which I didn't do. But I can tell you where I'm up to now, which is that I'm at 46 pages. I have 17,385 words, which is a lot. And I am up to part 7 of 9, which requires the secondary literature and all that. I then need to write the conclusion. The introduction, I think is done, but I will need to reread it when I basically print them out and handwrite over them, and I feel like when it's on a printed out piece of paper it's so much easier to edit it than when I'm trying to do it on a computer screen and flip back and forth between all of the different slides. I don't know, I just like printing it out. And so yeah, I will do that introduction, or at least I'll go back to the introduction and figure out anything that I feel like might be missing. I also have a few translations that I need to finish that I didn't do. When I wrote the first draft of this chapter, I was just going through the primary source material, and so I went through and translated the sections that I thought I was going to need. But when I've gone through and added in stuff from the secondary literature, it's meant that I've had to go and add in other segments of the primary source that I didn't think were relevant at the time, and so I do need to go through and translate those myself. I'm also drawing much nearer to the end because the really, really big segments were the earlier ones. Segment, I think 5. Yeah, 5 was the biggest one, and it took me so long to get through. And 7, 8, and 9 are all really, really short. I'm almost at the end at 7, so I'm going to try and finish that today. And then hopefully I can do 8 and 9 tomorrow, which means that I can print it out and edit it. And fingers crossed, I could be done by Friday. When I say edit, I'm not doing big edits. It's mostly proofreading and just making sure that all of my arguments make sense, but also putting it fresh in my mind so that when I write the conclusion, I've read the whole thing rather than trying to write it based on what I think I've been saying, but maybe I've forgotten stuff that came earlier. I'm not sure. So yeah, no, it's very, I think it's going well. It's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like, I honestly thought this was going to be like a 25-page section that I put in a chapter with another section, and that together is the chapter, but it's proving to be this is the chapter. And I'm becoming more and more convinced of my argument the more that I analyze stuff, which is really cool. I also had a really big breakthrough like an hour ago where I was writing something and it just gave me an idea about something, and I just wrote it all out, and then I ran it past my colleague to be like, am I extrapolating this? Am I like taking more out of this text than there actually is there? And he said, based on the way I presented my argument, he's not familiar with my time period, but based on my presentation of the argument, he seems like it makes sense. And so yes, I'm winning so far. I honestly feel so proud of this chapter, and I feel like it's the most cohesive chapter that I've written in my whole thesis, which is really good because this is like where I'm supposed to be by this point in my PhD. Like, I'm supposed to be set in my arguments and know how I write and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to feel like I'm developing as a historian and in my arguments, and yeah, it's just really cool. So anyway, it is 6:48 p.m. I'm going to pack up. I need to do the dishes and stuff and then head home. I think we're going to take a quick dinner break and then get back to it. I really want to finish this segment tonight so that hopefully tomorrow I'm only focusing on 2 segments, and they're quite short segments, so I think it will be fine. Fingers crossed. I just want to finish it so that I can start editing it tomorrow. It's the main thing, is that like goals would be to edit it tomorrow. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you when I get home. It is 10:48 and I am not done. Oh my gosh, this chair. Yeah, not done. I thought that I'd be able to get this done tonight, and I've been going for an hour and a half now. I got home and we had dinner and watched an episode of Castle, and then we got back into work, and I've been going for an hour and a half, and I thought it would be done, but I'm realizing that there is a lot more in here than I thought there was. I thought this was the short segment, or one of the short segments, but I've realized that I have just finished with the 25th chapter, and I have got of like stories that I'm writing about, and I've got chapters 26 to 31 to still write about, which is tragic, but it's fine. I saw the summary that I'd originally written and thought that it wasn't very long, but it's because I summarized quite heavily, because I don't know, I felt like at the time it wasn't that important to have all of the details, but now the way that I'm writing, I think it would stand out if I brushed over these things versus the way that I've been writing about them. Anyway, and that's going to be tomorrow's task, because like I said, it's almost 11 o'clock and I've been working now for 10.5 hours today, which is kind of sad that I've been sat at my desk for 10.5 hours, but I just want this chapter to be done. I'm so ready for it to be done. So yeah, I'm going to end this here, and I'll pick you up again tomorrow, I guess, when I keep writing. Both good and bad. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, hi. I just recorded like a 5-minute clip and the camera was facing the wrong way, so maybe I will just input the sections here while I'm doing my next time lapse. And yeah, I don't think I've spoken today. Hello. I've decided to stay home. Oh my gosh, this chair. I've decided to stay home because I was on a roll this morning, and I didn't want to break it and go into the office. And like, the office can be really good and really motivating, and like, you can't get distracted with dishes and washing and all that kind of stuff, but you also can get distracted talking to people, and I just felt like having a kind of day today. So I've been working, and I came across a text that I should have read, and I was trying to put off reading it, and then decided I just needed to read it because I just wasn't understanding the story that I was supposed to be explaining and this article gave like the full back context for it. So I did take some time out and read that, and it's ended up being very helpful. I'm now continuing on with my argument and writing, and I said yesterday that I was most of the way through 7 of 9 sections, and I think I said that I thought I was near the end of 7, but then I discovered that I actually have a lot more to do that I'd forgotten about. And so I'm going through and filling that out now, and it really is taking a lot longer, especially because like there's so much backstory to all of these episodes that I hadn't originally thought about, because I'm looking at like the overall structure of a book and then going through it and explaining how all of the individual segments were potentially altered or edited or put in faithfully in order to write the argument of the book, or to align itself with the argument of the book. And it turns out that is a lot of work doing that, but it's exciting. It's just a lot of work. So that is taking longer, and I'm still going through the 7th section. I'm at 48 pages and 18,120 words. So we're getting there. It's just getting there slowly. We are going to the gym in an hour because I'm trying to be a good person. Not that going to the gym has anything to do with morality, but I'm trying to not just spend my entire life sat at the desk, because like I worked 10.5 hours yesterday, and with how I'm feeling about this chapter, I could just keep going and just keep working 10.5 hour days. But I don't know if that's healthy, and I don't really want to get to the end of my PhD having put off the gym like the whole time, because I was just trying to get things done. But then I also recognize that sometimes I don't work like full 7.5 hour days, which is my aim, on days when I'm just like reading, because it's taking in so much information that it's hard to sustain that for so long. Whereas because I'm writing at the moment, yes, I'm producing information, but I'm not having to like store information. I don't know, it feels like there's a difference. So yeah, I am going to go to the gym, and I'm just going to do the run that's programmed. We're also going for a hike on Saturday now. We spontaneously planned this last night. We're going to go for a hike on Saturday to just get out in nature, and there's a hike that I've been wanting to do for like over a year now, and it's in our region, but it's hard to get to without a car. So like it takes like 4 hours, I think, and it only takes an hour and a half with the car. So we have hired a car. We're gonna go do this tomorrow, and then that can be my break. Sorry for the extremely loud sounds outside. I'm in my office and the road is here, and so every time that a car drives past, it is extremely loud. But I have finished my chapter and I've proofread everything. I think the last clip you saw was me printing it out. I didn't, for some reason, film me editing it, because it was basically just me like red pen marking over everything, and there was a lot of red pen. I basically decided that I'd split the chapter into 2 sections, because I thought that the first section would justify why I had structured the second section in that way. And I realized that was kind of stupid, because I was doubling up on information, when if I just included it, I could justify it whilst doing the structure. So anyway, I basically had to red pen everything and figure out how to fit this first section into the second section without duplicating information. But because it had originally been 2 separate sections, they were also written in a very different like style and tone, because they had 2 different purposes for what they were trying to do. So I also had to go through and like meld the tones so that it didn't look like I'd literally just like uplifted one work and put it into the other without smoothing it out. So that was most of what the editing process was as well. There was also just like, you know, grammatical stuff here and there that needed to be fixed. And then I sent it off, and it feels so strange to think that this gigantic piece of work is the most complete thing I have ever finished during my entire thesis, and I've just submitted it and put it out into the ether as in like my supervisors, but it is no longer just something that's in my head. I've sent it off to them, and now I'm just waiting for a response. I'm waiting for them to read through it, to tell me what they think are the pros and cons, what needs to be edited, what needs to come out. Basically, it's covering a whole book within this like corpus of work, and within the book is obviously lots of different chapters, and I felt like I didn't know whether I should include all of the chapters or not, and I'm assuming that they're going to turn around and say no, because not everything is specifically relevant to the overall structural argument that I'm making. So we'll see what they say about that. But it's really weird thinking that each time that I submit something, it is more and more perfected and more ready, and I'm feeling more confident in how I write as a historian, which is very exciting, but also kind of surreal that I'm like my own little person and I'm not just like, I don't know, a student trying to copy people anymore, but I've got my own ideas and my own way of writing things and structuring things, and I get to make my own decisions. And I feel like when you start a PhD, you're still very much in the master's phase of like little baby PhD, and you're still wanting reinforcement on like, am I doing the right thing? And I feel like I'm now at the point where I might not be doing the right thing, but there is no right thing. It's kind of whatever I, trusting my training, decide is the right path. And I feel like this is the piece that most reflects that. And it's also the most ambitious piece that I've written, because I'm challenging a lot of historiography in it by taking the approach that I've taken. But I think I'm proud of it, which is a very cool thing to say. So anyway, this video is probably long enough. I don't know how long it's going to come down to in editing, but I'm going to end this here. I'm sure since I'm doing weekly vlogs to the end of the year, that when I have a meeting with my supervisor, you'll hear the update about how this chapter has gone and everything. But thanks for coming along, and I'm appreciating this accountability. So I hope that if it wasn't entertaining for you, that you didn't mind just listening to me rant about stuff, because I feel like it helps me process the information and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this here, and I'll pick it up again at the beginning of next week. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and have a lovely week or weekend, whatever time you're watching this, and I'll see you with another video very soon.